This is TPI the podcast. In this episode, AI John and AI Jane narrate a profile from our Home Away from Home series.
Ever feel like you're just, existing in your community, not really woven into the fabric of it all?
Yeah, I know that feeling.
It's like you're there, but not really there.
Right, exactly.
But then we came across Dr. Chante Ruffin's story.
Talk about inspiring, huh?
Seriously. To go from newcomer to, a pillar of Alexander City.
Just over a decade.
And here's the thing. She's a pediatrician.
It's not the first profession you think of.
When you think community leader, right?
Right. So we were like, okay, what are the specific steps?
Yeah, what can we learn from her playbook?
Because this is clearly someone who's figured something out.
Exactly. So rewind with me to 2010.
Okay, 2010.
Dr. Ruffin's a young doctor, fresh out of residency, lands in Alexander City, Alabama, looking to build a career, build a life.
Pretty relatable, actually.
Oh, totally.
Starting fresh somewhere new, it can be daunting. No built-in network. You're figuring out where you fit in.
It's like starting from scratch.
It really is.
And I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate to that feeling.
Oh, absolutely.
But here's where Dr. Ruffin's story takes that turn from, ordinary to intentional.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
She doesn't just unpack her bags. She dives headfirst into getting involved.
Like what? Give me an example.
We're talking Lake Martin Area United Way Board.
Wow.
Parent-teacher organizations, PTOs.
She went all in.
The kind of stuff that says, I'm not just here temporarily, I'm here to stay and make a difference.
And that's the genius, I think. Mm-hmm. It wasn't random. Joining the United Way Board, you're instantly connected with key people, resources.
The movers and shakers.
Exactly. And you get a crash course in what the community actually needs.
It's true.
Same with those PTOs. You're right there with parents, teachers.
Front lines.
Yes. You get this immediate pulse on what matters to families.
It's like a masterclass in Community 101.
Right. And it's not just showing up.
No, it's strategic.
She's positioning herself to listen, to learn, and then
lead.
Which is what happens next.
Fast forward to 2019, she opens Heritage Pediatrics, her own practice.
Talk about putting down roots.
All right. This is serious commitment now.
No kidding. This wasn't just about building a business, though.
It's about becoming a part of the fabric of Alexander City.
Exactly.
All right.
But here's the thing. That same year she opens Heritage Pediatrics,
yeah,
Dr. Ruffin takes on a role that I think really cements her place in the community.
Right.
She's appointed to the Alexander City Schools Board of Education.
Wow. So she went from running her own practice to shaping the future of education for an entire town.
It's a big deal.
And, it makes you realize.
What's that?
Local governance.
Yeah.
It's kind of the foundation of any community, right?
It really is. But it's funny.
What's that?
It's something we often take for granted.
It's true.
We don't always think about it, but
it's just kind of there.
It's there, yeah. But those decisions, they have a ripple effect. It's not just the students,
Right, it's the families.
The teachers.
The whole town, basically.
Property values, everything. It's all connected.
It's true. And clearly her dedication made a big impact because
Here comes the award.
In 2022, she was named the Alex City Chamber of Commerce's Woman of the Year.
That's amazing.
It's a huge honor.
For sure.
And you know what? It wasn't just for her professional achievement.
No, it was more than that.
It was for, embodying what it really means to serve a community.
To really be a part of something larger than yourself.
Exactly.
And they said it best in her letter of recommendation.
Oh, yeah. What'd they say?
Okay, they said, Dr. Ruffin is consistently and lovingly putting the needs of our community first.
It's so simple.
It is.
But it's so powerful at the same time.
Right. It really gets at the heart of things, don't you think?
It really does.
It's not about recognition or award.
It's about action.
It's about actually caring and then doing something about it.
And putting in the work day after day.
Yeah. It's the small, consistent actions that add up over time.
It's those small moments, right, that actually make the biggest difference.
Yes. The ones that often go unnoticed.
The little things that build up those real connections.
Exactly. Like Dr. Ruffin talked about those everyday interactions.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she said really cemented her connection to Alexander City.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Think about it. A patient expressing love for her as they leave the exam room.
Oh, that's sweet.
Right. Or being invited to a patient's recital.
Those are special moments.
They are. Those little gestures, they might seem insignificant.
Yeah, you wouldn't think much of it usually.
Exactly. But they build up over time.
It's like they weave together this tapestry of shared experience.
Yes. And I think that's something that might get lost in a larger, more anonymous setting, you know?
Right. Those little moments of human connection.
Exactly.
It really makes you think about what community really means, doesn't it?
It's not just about where you live, right?
It's more about feeling seen, feeling like you matter in that space.
Yes. It's that feeling of belonging, of being connected to something larger than yourself.
And you know what's interesting? Dr. Ruffin talks about how that feeling snuck up on her.
Oh, really? How so?
So remember, she chose Alexander City for practical reasons at first.
Right. It was the place to build her career.
Exactly. But over time, through all those intentional efforts,
Yeah.
it went from being a practical choice to a place she truly felt connected to.
She found a home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just love that she's so open about that transformation, you know?
It's like Alexander City went from a dot on the map to a place she couldn't imagine leaving.
And it all goes back to that idea of actively choosing to be a part of something.
It's not about just being there physically. It's about showing up.
Engaging, contributing.
Yes. It's about deciding that you're not just an individual living in a particular location, but a part of a living, breathing community.
And that's a powerful message because it means we all have the power to create that sense of belonging.
In our own lives, in our own communities.
It's not about waiting for it to happen. It's about actively building it, brick by brick.
And the best part, it doesn't have to be some grand, sweeping gesture.
It's the little things, right?
Exactly. Remember those small moments we were talking about?
Like the patient who told her she loved her.
Yes. Or just, showing up for your neighbor, supporting local businesses.
These small acts of kindness and connection.
They might seem insignificant in the moment.
But they add up.
They really do. They create this ripple effect.
And that's what builds a strong community in the long run.
And who knows, maybe your small act of kindness today inspires someone else to pay it forward.
And just like that, you've started to create a ripple effect of your own.
Because at the end of the day, we're all connected.
And it's up to each of us to nurture those connections and build communities where everyone feels like they belong.
Beautifully said. That's a perfect note to end on, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure diving into this with you.
The pleasure was all mine. Until next time.
TPI the Podcast is a production of TPI Media and brought to you by TPI Digital. It's all about the audience, and whatever your marketing needs, we can reach that audience. To find out more, go to tpidigital.com or click the link in the show notes.